It was then that Krilsis hit upon the idea, the notion, to help them. And this is where the seed of an idea would become a blight to existence, and eventually flourish into one who would be the destroyer of all. Daemons were born of instinct, of hunger, and needed to feed. His plan was a simple one: to give them what they sought so they would no longer burn with their hunger, no longer need to feed, to kill, to annihilate. He would make them as he, one of his host. The source agreed after much time, and a sliver of the source was gifted to Krilsis upon a prime place created for this occasion, so that the plan could be born into reality. This sliver that was gifted was taken from one who would later become known to the realms as Terraspine. This daemon essence was nurtured with the energies of Krilsis, gifting it immense power, but such an infusion could not be held within the daemon's essence, as in order for it to exist past the prime, it would need a form that it could carry onward towards the place where the host itself resided. And so Krilsis crafted a vessel, a form, a body. The essence learned quickly of its nature, its truth, and understood that it was of the source. It traversed the demonic planes briefly in order to see what had borne it, but the source could only be viewed afar as a speck of raw power, unreachable even by those who were true daemons. This half-breed could no longer nest deep enough within the magical planes to see its creator, and realize that, despite its power, it could never know that which the rest of its kind knew, the hunger for existence. The seeds of anger began to grow. Why had this being borne him and given him to another? Why had the other made chains that would hold him for an eternity at bay from his own progenitor? Why had they both consorted to bring him into existence, only to torment him with such vistas? Krilsis watched on as the creation, born of hope, turned slowly to inward thoughts and began to question Krilsis' actions as well as his own very existence. It was then that Krilsis made the mistake, the crucial error that would seal the fate of so many in short order, but untold billions in future times yet to pass. Krilsis opened a gateway, a passage to the host, so that his creation could meet the others within the host, and see what marvels awaited him with his new form. His creation looked on at his creator, and watched intently how the magic moved around him, and how the gates had been called forth. He would soon see what no daemon had ever seen, what none not of the host, not even the source itself, could ever know. It was his gift from Krilsis, the knowledge of existence, and he wanted it. In the time he had spent upon the plains, he learned quickly that he could not be harmed by others of his kind, daemons that is, as the body Krilsis had crafted him was born of the host itself. No daemonic magic could enter the place where the host resided, as there was no way of carrying it through the barriers that protected them, and there was also no way of penetrating that which was known as the void. Although the void could be seen across, such as the inky blackness between the two sides of a chasm, anything that entered the void simply ceased to be, and the newborn had no wish to discover this firsthand. However, he had been given entry by the Lord of the Host, their creator, their leader, their very own source? He waited, and then entered the place of the gods. He took in these vistas, a place where all the planes were visible, stretching out in an endless sea of colour and form. Nestled within these ebbs and flows were objects, awash with many magics, wherever they were touched by the planes that surrounded them, like corks bobbing on the ocean. These were the locations of the primes, places crafted by the host. These were the places where life was, where the embers of life burned. And with a long stare, and the awe-inspiring sight washing over him, he found what he was looking for, one small spot of prime. A specific spot of prime that had meaning to his existence. For it was the place he had come into being, when the source had given his essence to Krilsis to fashion his identity. He asked if that was the place where he had been born into this shell, and Krilsis assured him that the place he had seen was indeed the place of his origins. The host looked upon the creation Krilsis had brought before them, and they were in awe. But some were confused. After all, there was a host they knew nothing about. Krilsis called them all together so he could introduce them to their new member, and this is where the mistake became apparent.